What's up, B Squad? It is your boy JB, and we're here, you guys, to discuss a brand new episode review of The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, you guys. This is season 14, episode 6, you guys. The episode was titled Venom in the Viper Room. Now, before we go ahead and get into it, if you guys are watching this video, if you guys are watching this or any other video on the channel, and you guys aren't subscribed yet, then I need you guys to do me a solid favor and stop taking me out on this date and then have me pay for it at the end of it. You guys know the routine. You can do me that favor by liking the video, subscribing to the channel, turning on your post notifications, you guys, and also by sharing the video. And with that out of the way, without further ado, let's discuss this episode of Beverly Hills, shall we? All right. Let's get to the comment. I just saw a comment. Penelope says, "Doesn't this show come on? Doesn't this come on tonight?" No, it came on last night. Penelope. What came on tonight was Salt Lake City. That's what came on tonight. But Beverly Hills came on last night. So, if you guys watch this episode, drop down in the comment section. Let me know what you guys thought about the episode. And I'm trying to share something with you guys, but for some odd reason, it ain't coming up. It's not coming up, and I don't know why it's not coming up. I have no idea why the hell it's not coming up, but what's my? How do I get that out of the hug? Penelope says, "Child, SM shaking my head." Yeah, I don't know why they moved Beverly Hills from Wednesday nights to Tuesday nights. I don't understand it, but neither here nor there. They did it, and again, like I said, it don't make a lick of sense to me. But hey, it is what it is. But like I said, you guys, I was trying to share something with you guys, and I just airdropped it to my computer, but for the life of me, it ain't coming. It's not coming up in my files, and I don't know why. Okay, there it is. Oh, that's why. When did they when did they move it? They moved it this current season. So yeah, Beverly Hills comes on Tuesday nights instead of Wednesday nights. I don't know if they did that because, like I said, SLC comes on Wednesdays or what, but they definitely did move it. And also, you guys, so this is what I was trying to share with you guys. So you guys know that no, it's not always been on Tuesdays. It's been on Wednesdays. It's always been on Wednesdays. It's always been on a Wednesday night. That's what I think it was too, to help Roni, but I don't even think it's really helped Roni, to be quite honest with you, because when Beverly Hills goes off, people turn the television off and don't watch Roni, because I know for a fact I ain't watched Roni. When it comes to Roni, I watched that days later. And when I say days later, I mean days later. Yeah, at one point it did. It was Thursday. Then they with Beverly Hills, they always move it. But for the longest time, it's been, for the last few seasons, it's been on Wednesday. But yeah, I definitely do think that was part of the reason for them moving it to Tuesday, was because of the terrible ratings this season for the Real Housewives of New York City. That's my thought and process, but it still don't make any sense because people still don't tune in to Roni like that. But it is what it is. Now, I will direct you guys to the screen. So, as you guys know, I have been letting you guys know that we are putting a panel together to discuss the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. So, next Wednesday night at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, 7 p.m. Central Time, which would be my time, we will be going live on Yocrates channel with the Whether You Like It or Not panel, where we will be discussing the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. So, the panel consists of myself, Really B, Yocrates, Scotty, Bell Collective, Bell Perspective, and Simply Sakina. So definitely be sure to check us out as we discuss the episodes on Beverly Hills. So we'll go in rotation like they do with the Whether You Like It or Not panel for the Real Housewives of Atlanta and Potomac. So yeah, be sure to check us out, you guys. But let's go ahead and jump into the episode. Um, oh yeah, it is Salt Lake City this time, but I don't watch Salt Lake City live anyway, so it won't be a big deal for me. But yeah, guys, let's get jump into the yeah. I'm definitely gonna post it in my community tab, and as soon as I have the link, because you guys creating the link, so as soon as the link is available, I'll definitely post it in the community tab for you guys as well. Uh, but yeah, let's get into this episode. This episode, I don't plan on being here too long because this episode, honestly, it wasn't much to talk about. So, uh, let's get into it. Yeah, not real not Real Housewives of Salt Lake City's finale time. Post on. Yep, definitely will. But yeah, so this episode, let's start up with the person who honestly gave the least, and that's Bose. I like Bose, but her scene, it was a flyaway scene. It's a scene that I didn't remember it until I rewatched the episode, and I was like, oh, that's right, she did have a scene. So you guys know Bose has a boyfriend, and we see Bose and her boyfriend. They're out on a date with each other. He's a good-looking guy. So they're just talking. Bose tells us they're in a long-distance relationship. She says he lives in I believe she said he lives in San Diego and she lives in LA. I was like, that's not really long distance, Bose, but okay. If you say it's long distance for you, then it's long distance for you. She says they talk on the phone all day. I was like, huh. Those are things that I necessarily wouldn't want in a relationship. It's cool to talk on the phone with your significant other at least once or twice a day, but to just have constant conversations. Well, she said they talk at least twice a day, right? That's fine. To let her know when he's at the gym and what's if we talk, once or twice a day, once or twice, not every day. It can be, we talk today, we don't have to talk tomorrow, and we can catch up on Friday, go out somewhere and do something like that. I'm not somebody that needs constant communication, be it with my family or with my friends or in a relationship. I don't need constant communication because I'm pretty much a little bit of a recluse and I like alone time and being by myself. But hey, um, it is what it is. What I will say is in this particular scene with Bose, I absolutely hated the wig she had on. That something about that wig was just bothering my spirit, right? So she does ask him, she was talking to him about their relationship, and she was talking about marriage and all that kind of stuff. She did say that, when they first talked, and he said the pretense that, if she wanted to call him, to call him. I was like, okay. When I tell you guys, this scene really, it gave very little nothing to me, but it was a cute scene it was cute for what it was. And like I said, I like Bose, so it is what it is. But we'll move on from Bose and move over to somebody else who didn't give us a whole lot in this episode, Garcelle. I love Garcelle, but her scene was nothing as well. So you guys know Garcelle has her beach home. I'm still asking the question of where is this beach house? Because that neighborhood, when you look at the neighborhood, it doesn't give beachy. You know what I'm saying? Her home, however, does, but the other houses in the neighborhood, I don't really get the whole beach vibe from them, but you know, it is what it is. So we see her, she's with her grandson, OJ, Oliver, one of the twins. I don't know which twin it is, and then Ashlyn. I think the twin's girlfriend. But again, I don't remember which twin it is, right? So they go to the beach house. Again, one thing I will say about her beach house is beautiful. The way that, the design of it, the interior, everything about the house, gorgeous. Love it, right? The real estate, however, the area that it's in, it just look a little sketchy to me. Just look a little sketchy. But hey, we ain't knocking her. We uplifting her. So we see as they have dinner, and I saw people last night on social media talking about, oh, Garcelle is always talking about her sons. We know this story already because she was talking about Oliver in the throes of his addiction and the fact that when he was in the throes of his addiction, that she had to show him some tough love and basically had to put distance between Oliver and her family. Understandably, I understand that. And she felt bad about it. Understand that as well, because you would feel bad about like your child is going through an addiction and you want to help them, but you don't want to enable them at the same time. So I definitely got it. But the problem that I have with some of the fans is they're like, oh, we know this story. This has been her storyline for the last few seasons. What were y'all saying about Dorit? Because Dorit had the same storyline for 2 seasons, that robbery. Because season 12, that was her storyline. Season 13, she came back. That was her storyline. So y'all need to have the same energy that y'all have for Garcelle for Dorit. Because for the longest time, even before that robbery, Dorit ain't had no damn storyline. Let's be real about that. Let's also talk about the fact that y'all were going up for the last, from season 10 up until season 12. We talked about Erica for 3 long seasons. Ain't nobody complained about that. I ain't heard not a one complaint. But oh, Garcelle, she has the same storyline. Kyle hasn't had a. There was a long period of time before Morgan came in where Kyle didn't have a storyline. Rena didn't have a storyline. The same way y'all talking about Garcelle talking about her sons, Rena talked about them girls. Rena didn't have a storyline for a very long time. Rena didn't have a storyline for a very, very long time. One season was about one of the daughters' eating disorder, right? One season she was selling stuff out of her fucking house. Then the other season was about the other daughter. Like, so y'all pick and choose who y'all want to say don't have a storyline. When majority of these girls ain't had a storyline, they piggyback off of someone else's storyline. Because I know somebody tweeted me last time was like, well, Garcelle's the one that brought up Dorit's robbery. She brought it up at the reunion, not last season. Dorit talked about that last season, but I'm gonna let it go. I'm gonna let it go. But yeah, we didn't really get much with Garcelle in this episode, so we'll move on over to Dorit, you guys. So Dorit, I really ain't got much to say about Dorit, other than the fact that do what you got to do. I do find it kind of interesting that you are trying to shield your kids from what's going on with you and PK when your kids are 8 and 10 years old, and I'm sure your kids have access to a mobile device, and I'm so your kids can easily type into a Google search your name and PK's name, and any of the articles that have been written about you two can easily pop up. Now, I don't know if your kids are in private school or homeschool, right? But if your kids are in private school, I'm pretty sure some of the kids and their parents talk. The kids talk, kids hear their parents talk. So I wouldn't be surprised if some of the kids know from hearing what their parents say about you and PK, right? So in a nutshell, I get wanting to protect your kids and keep their innocence to us, keep their innocence. I get that, right? But to kind of do this as if your kids are oblivious, but these are her kids. I can't tell how to raise her kids. These are her kids. But I don't think you're helping your kids by keeping this from shielding them from this and keeping this from them. I think that you should be open and honest with your kids about this. That's my 2 cents, right? But again, those are her kids. She gonna raise her kids however the hell she wants to raise her kids. So in this episode, we find out that she and PK are she actually is meeting up with Erica, and we find out that Dorit's parents are in town, and so she's talking about how good Phoenix did at the ballet, and we see her order that basic ass drink she always orders. So she told Erica that she and PK they have therapy coming up. So then they talked about the night before, and Erica was just elated and telling her how good it was that she went off on Camille. I was like, okay. Now if she did that to you, you would be ready to eviscerate her. But okay. I mean, you did it to Sutton, Little Miss Motherfucking Small Town. So okay, I see why you are going up for it. I didn't go up for Dorit coming at Camille like that because you did call that woman to see you next Tuesday. I know you were trying to be funny and facetious and joke with Camille, but I know you white ladies get offended by that word. And so Camille got offended by that word. You could have easily apologized to Camille, but it is what it is, right? They also talked about Sutton and how they feel that Sutton is the opposite of the sisterhood thing. And can I agree with them? Actually, I can. Because the way that Sutton was at Kyle's party, yeah, that didn't necessarily scream sisterhood. Especially to say to Dorit, you're not mad at me, you're mad about your life, right? That is, in fact, what Bose said. It was weapon. She took something that Dorit has shared with them and used it as a weapon against her. So Sutton, she's not wrong. You did absolutely weaponize Dorit's pain against her. So you got to take that one and own it. In the words of Renna, own it, baby. So later in the episode, we see as Bose went over to Dorit's home, right? And, Bose says that Dorit likes to talk and she likes to listen, right? And I've already talked about Dorit keeping this from the kids. Again, like I said, I get it to an extent that you want to protect your kids and preserve their innocence and all this kind of stuff, but you're not really doing your kids any favors by not being open, being honest, and telling them, "Hey, mommy, and I mean, your kids know that your husband, their father doesn't live with you." Now I don't know what you explaining to your kids, but hey, whatever you explaining to them, you explain it to them, right? So Dorit says that she and PK went to therapy. It was 4 hours. Ain't no way in hell I would sit in a 4 hour therapy session with Dorit. So she said that PK was unrecognizable to her because he said that, he wants a divorce and that he doesn't want to be with this woman. I was like, is that a shock? Because it shouldn't be a shock to you, Dorit. Your husband has not been around for the last few seasons. When your home got burglarized, when you got robbed, your husband was not there. So I'm sorry, Dorit. The writings have been on the wall, like Destiny's Child said. The writings are on the wall. Thou shalt not hate. Thou shalt pay bills. Thou shalt give into temptation. Like all those things that Destiny's Child said, girl, the writings were on the wall. Yep, she said 4 hours. Ain't no way in the hell I'm finishing in the 4 hour therapy session with anybody unless it's a family member. Spouse, absolutely not. Because what we need 4 hours to talk for, that's a long ass time. Now, Bose, I do like you. I really do. But I think like this whole thing with Dorit and Kyle inviting Camille to her home. I don't understand what that has to do with you. And for Dorit to say that Kyle didn't tell her she was inviting Camille to her home, it's like she doesn't have to, like, I want people to understand this. Even with these shows, I don't have to tell you who I'm inviting to my house. If you don't want to, if you come to my house, you see somebody that you don't fuck with, either ignore them or leave. One of the two. If I'm cool with this person, if I'm friends with this person, I don't have to tell you a damn thing. It's my home. Penelope says PK gives me he wants to party, but they had kids and Dorit became a. That's what it is. That's exactly what it is. That's exactly what it is when it comes to Dorit and PK. Dorit and PK lived a certain lifestyle before the kids came along, and then once the kids came along, Dorit no longer wanted to do the things that they did kid free. But PK wanted to. Actually, PK said he wasn't really into that stuff until she came along. But I guess he got into it, going out, doing all this kind of stuff. And now that he's used to it and more accustomed to it, and she doesn't want to do it, it's a problem for him. But I mean, what do you expect? So Bose is still talking about the fact that she's upset with Sutton because of what Sutton said to Dorit. And I'll give her that, right? That I'll give you, because Sutton absolutely, like I said, she did weaponize what Dorit said to her. She took what Dorit said, threw it back at her as a jab to hurt Dorit. Sutton can say she didn't, but she absolutely did, ma'am. Tell yourself that lie, but that is exactly what you did. You did weaponize Dorit's pain against her. So that's it for Dorit. So we're gonna go ahead and wrap on up with Erica. And I don't want to spend too much time on her because her scene in this episode pissed me off for a multitude of reasons. So y'all know she's living in this house, right? She's talking about the interior, the stuff that she was barely able to take with her when she left Tom. Erica, Erica, Erica. I didn't give a damn 4 years ago, 4 years ago, when you left Tom, talking about what you took from Tom. I don't give a damn today about what you took when you left Tom. Let me tell you why I don't give a damn for the last time. I'm probably gonna have to repeat it again, but let me tell you why I don't give a damn. The things that you got through Tom are ill-gotten. Tom was taking money from his clients. Now, I ain't saying that everything that he has was from his clients, but a good majority of stuff that Tom probably owned and bought for you were funds from those victims. Those people have nothing. You were able, with the help of someone else, to get this house that you are currently living in. So you are not less fortunate, unlike those victims. So for you to be sitting here playing this woe is me bullshit story is mind blowing to me, it's baffling to me, and it's infuriating as hell, right? It's like the victims again be damned. But okay, you I don't know what you're doing. I don't feel empathy for you. I feel nothing for you because you still have money. Those people were victimized by your husband, who is now playing a senile old man, and they're never going to get any. They're never going to get anything. I don't feel that they're going to get anything from Tom. I really don't. So let me say this loudly. Let me say this clearly, Erica. Miss me with the bullshit. That is it. That is all. So we see Erica. So she's gonna be debuting her new single "Domino" at a club, and it's Pride. I have never been to a Pride event. Like, I've never been to anything Pride related, and they always have Pride stuff here in Dallas, but I've never been. I've never been to anything in Pride. I definitely, for one day, I'm gonna try to, make it to a pride event just to see what it's like, and see what the vibe is like. I'm very curious to see. So Dorit and Erica were on the phone as they were getting ready. So Dorit wants to have a conversation with Kyle to see if Kyle is still having conversations with PK. Okay, girl. So we see as all the ladies show up. Kyle, let me ask you this question. What the fuck is the purpose in you bringing Kesha? Is this to spark another rumor about maybe you're potentially dating another woman? Because I think, if I'm not mistaken, Kesha is bisexual. So, Kyle, stop playing with people. You are irritating at this point. That is irritating. Stop. Either come out the closet, or that's all I'm gonna say. Penelope says, "What is that in response to me never going to a Pride event? Because I literally never been to Pride. I don't know what people do at Pride. I've never been, but I do want to go one time. I think I might go. I think I might try it this year. Yeah, I've never been to Pride, and I've been in Dallas almost. Actually, not almost. This year is gonna make 10 years that I've been living in Dallas, and I know Dallas does it big for Pride, but I've never gone. Never. Honestly, it was never really a scene that I was really interested in. But watching Pride celebrations on TV, I'm like, oh, you definitely want to go and be supportive. You want to support, and like I said, I've never been, but I definitely do intend to go. I definitely do intend to go. I think my biggest fear about going to Pride is you just have to worry about other people's intentions, right? Because I'll never forget the Pulse nightclub thing that happened down there in Florida. I think it was Miami too, right? You just never forget about what happened with those people. Those people were just out there living their lives, having a good time, and then somebody comes in and does something. It's hatred towards people. And let me backtrack that, because I don't even think people who do stuff like that, it's not hatred towards those people. It's hatred towards that person internally, because anybody who can do stuff like that to people that ain't done nothing to them, there's something internal that you have not come to the realization about. Maybe you gay, maybe you're bi, maybe you're questioning yourself, right? And so, because these people are freely and openly living their lives, having a good time, you decide to do something like that, you got some internal struggles within yourself. So we see as Erica debuted her song Domino. Okay, whatever. Don't really care. Now, Sutton, back to you real quick, because you pulled Bose aside and told Bose that you felt the way about her, saying that you weaponized Dorit's pain. Sutton, you did it. It is what it is. I don't know what it's like. I don't know what you're arguing about. You definitely did weaponize that against that woman. So Bose isn't wrong. And so after that, after Erica performed, we see Dorit sitting with the girls. And so she decides to ask Kyle about texting PK. And Kyle says, "Well, I don't really talk to him like that." But she says, she said their relationship consists of memes and jokes, right? And pose a question to everybody. How do you guys feel about this, right? Because we all know, even though Kyle has basically earlier in the season diminished her relationship with Dorit, right? But we know they were good girlfriends, right? So how would you feel if you guys were all friends with each other, and okay, Penelope says she's wrong for that, because that's where I was about to go. Is she wrong, even though they were all friends with each other? I don't, again, like I said, I don't know how I would feel, because if we were all friends and you had a relationship like that, I don't know if I would feel, here's the thing, I would feel a way that you are continuing communication with him, and me and you not in a good space. I would feel a way about that. That I will feel a way about. I ain't even gonna lie about that. Like, yeah, I'm not gonna hold you. I would feel a way that you are continuing communication, and me and you ain't good. So yeah, I guess I'll give y'all that. She is wrong. I'll let you guys have. I can agree with that. I can absolutely agree. Even Bo says she wouldn't like it, right? So Kyle is like, well, I'm a girl's girl, so I would have your back. I was like, okay, you would have her back, but like I said, now saying it out loud, I can definitely see it. Like, okay, you saying your relationship is jokes and memes, but even here's the thing: you guys weren't talking, but why not tell her when you guys make up with each other? Like, hey, Dorit, PK has been texting me, and it's just memes, and it's just jokes. He hasn't said anything about you guys' relationship. Why do you say something to her when you guys made up? I do question that, Kyle. I absolutely have a question about that. So, Dorit said that things aren't good with them and that Kyle should have told her. And I'll agree with that. So she said that PK is making her life difficult. And so Garcelle says, well, what is he doing? And I couldn't understand what she said. It was something about the communication. I don't know if she's saying he's cut off communication, but it's something about the communication. And they have, two kids. They have two kids together, and she's trying to shield the kids. And Sutton said you can't do that forever. And I was like, oh my God, Sutton, why would you say that? Here's the thing, son. I agree with you. She can't shield the kids forever. And again, I don't understand why she's trying to shield the kids. You can have a conversation with your kids and tell them what's going on between mommy and daddy. Again, your husband don't live in the house with you. So I just don't understand. But again, these are her kids. Like Arcel said, these are her kids. Let her do what she wants to do with her kids. Hey, Kiwan, you say I'm super late. Oh no, you're as Riley Bird says, better late than never is what they say. But yeah, I mean, I agree with Sutton. It's like, why are you shielding your kids? Your kids, like I said, are 10 and 8. If they have access to a mobile device, they can easily Google you and PK and find these stories. My thinking process is I would rather my kids know it from me than to hear it from anybody else. That's how I always operate because my mom operated that way, right? Because there was if there was something that my mom had not told me, she don't and other people knew, she would come to me and tell me before anybody could ever tell me something that she wasn't able to tell me because she had a fear that someone had told me that I wasn't biologically her child. And when she sat down and talked to me, she asked me, she said, has anybody ever said anything to you about this? And I was like, no. And the reason why she asked that question is because my maternal grandfather, a woman that he had kids with, got mad at somebody in my family, and she had threatened to basically tell me that my mom wasn't my biological mother. And I'm glad she didn't. I'm really glad she didn't because had she told me, I probably would have cussed the bitch out. And no, probably would have cussed the bitch out. I would have cussed her out. I would have cussed her out because at a young age, I kind of knew that my mom wasn't my biological mother, but I would have cussed her the fuck out. I would have cussed her out if she had said that to me, and she wouldn't have liked me. As old as Doree's kids are, she needs to be honest. Exactly. Penelope says, "Oh wow, yeah, she was. God rest her soul, but she was that vengeful." You say, "How did I know?" There were a lot of questions that my mom couldn't answer for me as a kid, and it so to know me is to know that I'm a very inquisitive person. So I'm always going to ask questions, and if the answers that I get back don't add up, then the wheels in my head start to spin. And so, short story, I was about I was about 8 years old when I asked my mom the first time, was I her child? And she asked me, why did I ask her that? And had anybody said anything to me? I said, no, it's just some questions that I have. And as I got older, because she told me when I was 13 years old, because at that age, she couldn't legally adopt me without my consent. So she remembered this and she asked me. So she was like, "Why did you ask when you asked me a few years ago were you adopted?" She said, "Where did that come from?" And I told her, I was like, "Well, honestly, it came from me asking you a question about who my dad was." And she said, when I couldn't tell you, that's when you started questioning. I said, exactly. So yeah, I'm a very inquisitive person. So if I ask a question of people and the answer doesn't make sense in my brain, I'm going to question. I'm on my wheels, like I literally, my wheels will start to spin in my head. If two plus two ain't equaling four for me, I have a lot more questions. And I'm like, I'm gonna ask you a follow up question. Okay, well, da 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 da. Like I asked her a lot of I asked her a lot of follow up questions because even after I found out that I wasn't her biological child, I was like, well, how do you know what my birthday is if you didn't give birth to me? And that's what she explained everything to me. I was like, oh, okay, cool. She wants to say, Jackson, I'm glad you found out. Yeah, I mean, I'm glad that I found it. I'm really more so glad that my mom is the one that told me instead of anybody else because I wouldn't have received it from anybody else but her. Penelope says that's crazy. I would have assumed she just didn't know who the daddy was. Nah. So the reason why I wouldn't assume that is because my mom was actually married, and she and her husband were. That was the other thing. My mom was married, but she and her husband had been separated for years, and so that was the other thing. I was like, so your husband is not my dad? She was like, no. I was like, huh? So yeah, that was the other thing why it didn't make a whole lot of sense to me because my mom was married. She and her husband just were separated for a very long time. So so I have a stepfather, but I actually never met him. And the craziest story is one of my cousins married his niece, and my mom was looking at an album that they made an album, and my mom was looking at the album and she saw her sister-in-law and brother-in-law's name in there, and so she asked my cousin's wife. She was like, "Are you related to such and such?" And she was like, "Yeah, that's my mom and my daddy." And my mom was like, "That's my brother-in-law and sister-in-law." So small world, right? And so we found out at that time that her husband had been deceased for quite some time. I was like, oh wow. So so yeah, interesting story. Interesting story. Thank you for sharing your private story. It's not to me. It's not that private. I'm open when it comes to my mom and my adoption. I'm very open about that. That is one of the proudest moments of my life. I will say one of the proudest moments when we went to the courthouse and I got adopted by her. So I'm very open with sharing that story with people. I have so much pride in the woman who raised me. That is my mother. Uh, why'd I have to go there? Because I'm trying my hardest not to cry because I miss her immensely. But when it comes down to my mama, I love my mama to pieces and I miss her. But when it comes down to it, I couldn't have had a better mother. So it's not really a private story for me. It's just, uh, get it together, get it together, get it together. Don't cry. Do not cry on this damn. Do not cry on this live. Oh God, do not cry. Please don't cry. Whew, we good. I'm not gonna. Ooh, get it together. But yeah, it's not really private. I'm like I said, I'm just happy to share. I'm always gonna be happy to talk about her. What were we talking about? Oh, Doreen and her kids. Doreen and her kids. Oh Jesus. Oh, okay. I appreciate all the love, you guys. Hey, Greta. Sending you hugs, friend, because I totally understand. We welcome tears, friend. Here's the thing. I don't mind. Here's the thing. If y'all go back and watch some old videos on this channel where I talked about my mama, there were. I know that there's a Real Housewives of Atlanta video that I bust out crying. I was like, oh fuck, I ain't even mean to cry on that video, and I did. But yeah, we were talking about Dorit, right? And Dorit shielding her kids. I get it, right? I honestly get it, but it's better for your kids to hear it from you than from a virtual stranger, or even and see, the thing for me is, God, I'm about to age myself too. Like, which I'm pretty sure I probably could at that time in my life, if I want to find my birth records, I could have found my birth. Well, she had my mama had my birth certificate, but I'm pretty sure, like, how it's easy for me to find my birth certificate today, back in the early 2000s, it wasn't that easy. Like, it wasn't that easy to find your birth. You had to go in person and present so much information, which you still do today, but you can do all this. You can send people copies of stuff today. Because, like, my birth certificate, I just ordered my birth certificate online a few months ago without having to go to Michigan, where I was born at. So, Dorit, I think I get why you're trying to protect your kids, but your kids are of an age where they can easily Google things. So just tell your kids the truth. We just gonna blame Dorit. Yeah, we can blame Dorit. So after that, Sutton, girl, why did you scream at Dorit? I'm mad at you and Kyle, because you and Kyle got me defending Dorit this season. In this particular, I think the last time y'all were talking and Dorit screamed at you, yes, she screamed at you first, then you screamed at her. But this time, suddenly you screamed at her, and those are her kids. Let her raise her kid. Let her do what she wants to do with her kids. Do I think she should be shielding her kids? No. If Dorit's kids were toddlers, if Dorit's kids were 5, 6, and 7, I would say yes, because they're too young to kind of understand. But 8 and 10, I think they're old enough to understand this, right? So Dorit and Sutton are going back and forth with each other, and I was like, "What are y'all going back and forth about?" So Sutton then told Dorit, I'm not your friend, and we can just be cordial." I'm like, "Why are you screaming, Sutton?" Oh my God. And I know people were probably eating that up last night, because y'all remember last season with 8 and a half, when 8 and a half was telling Sutton that she was raising her voice at her. Oh God. Neither here nor there, right? So that was really the episode, because Kyle and Dorit started screaming at each other. And Kyle was like, "Well, I'm going to stop texting him." And I'm going to have to say, like I said earlier, I absolutely do agree with Penelope, right? When I literally sat and when I sit and think about it, yes, Kyle, you were definitely wrong to continue the texting relationship with PK when you and Dorit are not on the same page with each other. Like, it's fine when y'all are on one accord, y'all are good friends with each other. And I know some people will even say, "Nah, girl, you don't text my man unless we in a group chat." I know there are some people like that, right? And if this is you, please don't get offended. But I feel like the women and men who say, "Don't text my significant other unless we're in a group chat," that means you got some insecurities, boo. And again, if that's any of you guys, don't take it personally. That's just how I feel, right? Because I don't have a problem if I'm. Ooh, now let's see how far we want to go with this. I'm gonna give y'all a little bit of tea, not a whole lot of tea, because this one is a little personal. So I have a friend. Well, actually, my best friend, my best friend in the entire world. Um, we've been friends for almost 20 years, and her significant other don't care for me because of some insecurities. Girl, I hope you ain't watching this video. Well, I mean, I think we've discussed that. That is some insecurities. I think we've discussed that. I feel like we've discussed that. Oh well, I think we've discussed that. I think we know that there's some insecurities, right? But I ain't gonna go too deep into what the problem is. But my best friend's significant other just don't see it for me for a particular reason, and it's a dumb reason at that too. It's a stupid reason to not like me because ain't nothing ever transpired there, and nothing ever will transpire there. My best friend and I are like brother and sister. That is it. That is all. But yeah, um, Kiwan says Sutton doesn't like Dorit while acting like a victim. It seems like an unspoken alliance between Kyle and Dorit. It is. It is. It is absolutely a unspoken alliance between those two. But that's the episode, you guys. I'm surprised that I stayed on here for almost 50 minutes because this episode wasn't giving a lick of shit. But yeah, you guys, that is it. But like I said, you guys, I'm gonna share when I have the link to the panel next week. I will share it in the community tab, but I also will put this in the community tab. But be sure, you guys, to join us next Wednesday at 8 Central, 7, 8 Eastern, 7 Central for the Whether You Like It or Not panel, the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills edition. So everybody will be on the panel next week with the exception of Scotty and Really B. So it'll be next week, it should be me, Belle, Sakina, and Ya. But yeah, you guys, support us, and I will catch you guys in the next one. I was thinking about going live to do Salt Lake City, but we ain't doing Salt Lake City tonight. We'll do Salt Lake City tomorrow because I'll have a lot of time on my hands tomorrow. Because if y'all don't, it's a winter. We're in the winter, and they're saying here in Dallas that we're supposed to get ice and snow over the night. I pray that we don't. I pray that we don't because this city will shut down and I will literally be stuck in this house. And I can't do that. I'm not, I'm like I said, I did say I'm a recluse. I am a recluse, but I am not a homebody by no means, even though I work from home. Oh, Kiwan says, okay, uh, I will look forward to seeing you on Whether You Like It or Not. Okay. But yeah, you guys, that's it. I will catch you guys later, and you guys have a great night. Stay safe. Take care of yourselves. Wash your hands, you guys. Be blessed. And I will see you guys in the next one. You say my job have me work from home with this ISO. Oh, we ain't gonna talk about work from home because that's what I do every day is work from home. But today that wasn't quite the luxury because of my dang on internet. Had no internet access all day long until AT&T came out. I had to go to the office today, and I wasn't a happy camper because I had to iron clothes and get in my car and drive across it. Literally, the positive thing about my job is the office is right across the street from my apartment. Thank God for that. So it wasn't that bad, but it was the fact that I had to iron clothes to go into that office, and I didn't want to do that. But yeah, you guys, I will catch you guys in the next one. Be safe, you guys, and I'll see you guys later. Bye, y'all.